So welcome to our first podcast from the Driver's Hub. We don't know what the name of the podcast is because this was very spontaneous. But be sure to subscribe to the channel as we're gonna talk about cars more and more, and we're gonna post a podcast every week. We don't know about the audio version till now, but we're at least gonna do like a video podcast every week. So let's go on to the first topic, which is about the McLaren Senna. McLaren, I think so, just unveiled it on last week or something, right?
Yeah, last week. Yeah.
So the car was
the
unveiled.
hypercar from McLaren, right?
Yeah, it's the hypercar from McLaren. Yeah. So basically, it's a hypercar which has been derived on the chassis, or on a retuned chassis of the P1, and has the engine of the 720S. And it produces how much horsepower?
It produces approximately 789 bhp track-hitting hypercar.
So basically what McLaren have done with the new P15, codename P15 hypercar, is that they've made like a proper race car, but for the road. So it's basically like a road legal race car. And the magic, I know, like, the one thing that I hate about the P15 or the Senna, whatever you want to say, is the looks. It looks ugly.
It doesn't look like a McLaren from the rear end though.
Yeah,
because I personally didn't feel that the rear end is that good design, because it's pretty different than the other McLarens. The McLarens had a very unique DNA to their looks. Every car has a DNA, so McLaren had their own DNA for the front and the back. The front though looks like a McLaren, but the rear looks a bit ugly, a tad ugly, and it resembles somehow to the Koenigsegg Regera.
Yeah, especially because of those tail lights.
Yeah, tail lamps and the very lower tail. I don't know, it's somehow not
and
so pleasing.
even like the big spoiler, the spoiler is absolutely massive.
True.
If you see the rear end of the car, the spoiler is massive.
Yeah, it's.
But the thing is, the spoiler isn't like on like the proper rear end of the car. It's like in between. It's like literally on the rear wheel,
tires. Yeah,
the rear tires.
It starts from the mid of the rear tires and it almost ends till the rear end, but it's not at the end of the car.
I've heard somewhere that this this wing, it's an active aero wing, but I think it's way too big to be active aero.
True, it's pretty heavy.
I don't know.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I don't know, but they're saying
it
it's
doesn't
active.
Look like an active aero wing. If it was, then it would have different positions in the pictures.
Yeah, because. This is way too big, like for like the one thing, like people say like the Lamborghini Huracan Performante didn't go around the Nürburgring in 6 minutes 52 seconds. It's a controversial topic, but the one reason why it was so fast was because of its aerodynamics. And seeing the aerodynamics of this car, I think it will crush the newly king of the ring, the GT2 RS.
Probably,
for sure.
Yeah, probably,
for sure.
Yeah.
Because the GT2 RS has like something like 700 horsepower.
Mm-hmm.
The Huracan had 640.
This one has a massive 789 HP.
And McLaren are claiming that the Senna will have more downforce than a P1 GTR. Which
really?
isn't road. Yeah, it isn't road legal.
Oh my god, isn't road legal? This car's not road legal?
The Senna is road legal.
Yeah.
The P1 GTR isn't road legal.
Oh my god. Okay.
And which is absolutely crazy. So the P1 GTR was not around like a GT3 touring car. I think so. This has to be like the downforce levels of this car have to be around like the GT3 touring car or something like that.
Okay.
It's absolutely crazy. So I think so we're gonna move on to the next topic now.
Yeah.
So the next topic is about a Lamborghini Aventador that has been spotted in the wild with a potential Lamborghini ALA system which has been lifted from the Huracan Performante. And if you see spy shots of the car, it looks very bizarre. Like it looks like different, not very different to an Aventador, but very different. Like if you see the spy shots, right, it has a small little like shark fin on the rear deck lid where the engine cover goes.
Really? Is it that
weird.
ugly?
It's not ugly, it looks weird. It looks weird.
It doesn't look like Lamborghini.
It looks like it. Like I think so. Like some of the design elements for the new Aventador has been lifted from the Project One, because even the Project One has a huge like shark fin from like the top of the car to like the rear spoiler, and like the fin on this one isn't that big, but it still is very big. So basically, like the exhaust, I think so is like lifted from the Performante. And like I don't know if you can see it, but like when you see over here, like this indent, that's a shark fin.
For an Aventador?
Yeah. So I think so Lamborghini are going to now replace the Aventador with something else, because the Aventador has been out in the market since like 2011, and I mean it has been a like
It's been 7 years for Aventador?
Yeah, and doesn't look old. Doesn't look old at all.
We just saw it in Lamborghini showroom, right, Mumbai?
Yeah.
And it was.
I mean, like the design elements of Lamborghinis are just phenomenal. I mean, so yeah, I think so they're gonna replace the Aventador with a newer generation car, because like the Aventador has been out for 7 years. The car's it's not looking visually old, but I think so the inner mechanics of the car have become old.
Yeah.
So like this,
I think it needs a serious upgrade from the inside, not from the interiors though, but the engine specifications, probably a new, newly, the new cylinders or new engine configuration. Probably, we don't know what Lamborghini is all up to. So we really hope that this Lamborghini is much better than the previous ones, but I can't just complain about anything about the current Lamborghinis as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think so the main like the thing that I think so there was a post up on some website, I think so it was Motor Authority, that Lamborghini is going to come out with 1,000 horsepower Aventador,
Really?
Aventador replacement.
Oh,
which is going to take on like a Project One. Like at least that time it was saying LaFerrari and stuff. But I think so now it'll take on like a Project One or something.
That is
because when the Aventador came out, there was nothing faster than the Aventador.
Yeah, right.
Nothing at all. Like it was just out.
And it has a road presence, right? Like the speed is one thing, performance is one thing, but there's something about a car that has a presence on the road. Like only a few cars have that, Not all cars are look good.
Yeah.
Along with the good performance, like the McLaren, as I said.
Yeah. I mean, if you see a 720S on the road, you might, oh my god, like that's futuristic, that's so cool. But when you see an Aventador,
you have a different perspective, different mind state when you have a car in front of you. Believe me or not, that's what we experienced when we
me and Vicky, we saw the 488 for 2 days consecutively, and I think so on the second day you were like, okay, it's fine.
Yeah, it's just Ferrari. After all, it's good. Yeah, it's a Ferrari.
It's fine.
Yeah.
But when we saw the Aventador, and even the Huracan does it to some extent.
Yeah.
But the Aventador is just like a different level.
It's like a raging bull ready to pounce on you when it's actually ready for it. But believe, this is something about Lamborghinis. Ferraris are more towards, I don't know, they got some pretty smooth and gentle curves. That's what makes it pretty pleasing and appealing to the eyes. But Lamborghinis, every single Lamborghini pickup has a pretty aggressive stance, and I think that's what makes it a Lamborghini.
Yeah, I mean, Lamborghini's design is just phenomenal.
Very.
And I think so with the new ALA system also, I think so they're going towards aerodynamics more, because the Huracan Performante is just fast. It's like downright fast, like doing 6 minutes 52 seconds on the Nordschleife. It's absolutely crazy. It beat the 918, which is like in itself it's a big achievement.
True. 918. Oh my god.
I mean, like the 918 is like $1 million.
That's a legend.
Yeah, it has 887 horsepower. The Huracan Performante, it's just like a normal Huracan with some aerodynamic tweaks to it.
Aesthetic tweaks, yeah.
Not aesthetic, it's actual aerodynamic.
Functioning aesthetics.
Functioning aesthetics. New word for aerodynamics. So yeah. Okay, so the next topic we're going to talk about is about the new BMW M5. It just got launched.
Germans. Okay.
Yeah, so it just got launched, I think so at the Vallelunga racetrack. I think so, I'm not sure. I saw Shmi 150's video, and it is absolutely crazy. No words. Crazy. 605 horsepower.
That's huge.
I'm not sure about the torque figure. You know anything about the torque figure?
No, I'm not aware of the torque figure. I'm not good with numbers though. But I'm an aspiring transport designer, so I'm good with understanding and studying the design philosophies and languages about every car. So speaking of BMW M5, so the new 5 Series in general.
Yeah.
What are your opinions about the car on an aesthetic basis? What do you think about the new BMW M5 and
I
5
think
Series?
it is going to set a new benchmark.
Really?
For sure. in like the M5 or like the 5 Series E-Class and the A6. I think so they all come under the mid-size luxury sedan. And I think so the M5, like when you think of a mid-size luxury sedan, especially a performance one, I think so the first thing that comes to mind is the M5, because the RS6 you can't get it in the saloon version. You can only get it in the estate wagon, shooting brake, whatever version.
True.
And the E63, it's there. It's there. It exists.
Somewhere out in the wild. That's it.
Yeah, and I think so the main thing is that, would you buy a M5 or an E63 S?
M5.
Okay.
I'm blindfolded and I'm on an M5 right now.
Okay, so this is a tough one for me because when I saw the E63 AMG S, like obviously pictures of it, I was blown away. Like, the one thing I hate about that car is the design. It looks way too similar to a C-Class, and it looks way too similar to the S-Class. I think so the last E63 that was there, like the wide headlights one, I think that looked crazy. Like, it looked bonkers.
Yeah, this one looks more like a executive look. Executive sports look.
Yeah, it looks more like an executive sporty look. But the main reason I hate it is because it looks way too similar to an S-Class or an E-Class. I think so each and every car should have its own distinctive design. So yeah, true. I mean, like the M5 still, it looks very close to like a 7 Series.
I was about to say that. Speaking of 7 Series and the new 5 Series, I had something in mind. The previous 5 Series, it had the more dynamic stance, a dynamic look towards it. It had the very distinctive cuts on the curves. It's called, I don't know what BMW calls it, but there's a unique design philosophy what BMW follows, and it's been following for the past I don't know how many years. But now I think it's changed. It's more towards executive look as like 7 Series one. And I'm not able to imagine a 7 Series with the M Series engine and taking a 605 horsepower, and then it's a little tough for me to imagine, but I think it might set a new benchmark. But after all, it's a BMW at the end of the day.
I think so. The main drawback for the new M5 is the look.
True.
It looks good, don't get me wrong, it looks very good, but I think so it should look a bit more aggressive.
The moment you say, the moment you add the word but to something that's really good, that there ends the discussion. So that's always a...
But I think so performance-wise,
Performance, yes. I obviously agree that BM is going to set a new benchmark, as I said, because BMs are known for their engine, right? Engine and their tagline as it reads, sheer driving pleasure. Those guys are meant to deliver that performance and to the driver. And BMs are self-driven cars, whereas Mercedes is a chauffeur-driven car. That's how they categorize it. So,
but I think so the E63 S is ludicrous.
True.
I mean, it's insane. Like, I think so the main reason why you wouldn't buy a BMW M5 is, I think so, because of the luxury. E63, I think so the E63 S is a bit more luxurious inside. Like, it's a Mercedes.
True. Mercedes are luxurious, BMs are not.
BMs are more performance, like.
The moment you sit inside a BMW, you can easily distinguish, like, okay, I'm blindfolded, but the moment you touch the steering wheel and the sitting posture, the way you keep your legs on the floor, you can easily identify that it's a BMW, because those guys are more driver oriented. If you have ever observed, because I sat in a M5 in a 5 Series and a 3 Series, so I found something very unique about the BMs, that the center console, the AC console and the entertainment system console, it's more inclined towards the driver than being symmetrical. That's because the driver needs to have complete access and control towards everything at the reach of his fingers. That's a pretty unique thinking, and keeping in mind that it shouldn't be disturbing the passenger's comfort as well. That's a unique design. So
but I think so, like, in terms of performance, the E63 and the M5 are pretty close. I mean, like, the main thing in these new generation of mid-size luxury sedan performance variants is that even the E63 S and even the new M5, they're both all-wheel drive.
True.
Yeah,
that's right.
So I think so, like BMW purists or like AMG purists, they're like, oh my god, how can you make a car like a AMG or an M product
all-wheel drive?
I mean, it's almost impossible to make a 600 horsepower car to grip the road. So I mean, just thinking like me and Viggy, like on a daily basis, we don't even sit in like a 100 horsepower car.
Yeah, but I do have a 44 bhp under my bum. Nah, I got a KTM D392. I'm not boasting, but yeah, I enjoy the ride. But yeah, I would seriously love to have a personal driving experience. Even Soham would love to do that, I believe. Between the E63 AMG and the BMW new M5, I wish we get a chance to personally experience it, even on the passenger seat, because we really need to have a, you know,
Get my mom's call.
comparison. Yeah, it's a mom's call.
Okay, she cut it off. No, what?
Gotcha.
Yeah, so I think so. The M5, and the good reason I think so. The good thing about these two cars is that you can, what do you say? Disjoint the front axle from the rear axle just
What?
to make it rear wheel drive.
Oh,
Yeah, so if you want to have a proper M car or you want to have a proper rear wheel drive Mercedes, you have to go into the settings and go into drift mode or something like that. So yeah, if you want a rear wheel drive M5, then you can have it, but it's the only thing is that you will have to do that.
that's the real fun about the BMWs, right?
Yeah,
Rear wheel drives.
yeah, but I think so that's not going to be an issue. You have drift mode, drift all you want.
Yeah.
So I think so the last topic for the day is McLaren lying about horsepower figures. Another McLaren topic. So I'll tell you this backstory of this.
Okay.
So basically, a guy, he took the first of all the naming philosophy behind a McLaren.
No, I don't know.
Okay, so when you say 570S or 720S, 570 is the horsepower the car produces.
Oh.
So 570S, which means it produces almost 570 horsepower.
Okay.
So Lamborghini also does this. They have their, if you like take the whole model name of a Lamborghini, it's very long. It's like Lamborghini Huracan Performante LP640-4. That's the whole name.
That's because
So
in
in Lamborghini's terms, so in Lamborghini's terms, the LP means longitudinale postale. I butchered that name right now.
Oh,
So
well.
basically it means the engine is longitudinally set to the car, which means, I don't know what it means, but it's longitudinally like
Vertically
this.
set to the car, probably.
Yeah, vertically set to the car. Yeah. So which and 640 means the metric horsepower. Now real life horsepower and metric horsepower has a difference. So it has 640 metric horsepower and the dash 4 means it's 4-wheel drive. So yeah. So the guy he took the 720S. So 720S means it has 720 horsepower.
Kind of, yeah.
So basically when a manufacturer puts a horsepower figure into his name, into the car's name, it means, most of the time it means metric horsepower.
Okay.
So that the car sells more, as people think ki metric horsepower and horsepower is the same thing.
True,
So
but
like
it's
they
not.
think, oh my god, it has 720 horsepower, I'm gonna buy that car because it has 720 horsepower.
Numbers, please.
So, but in McLaren's case, it's a good thing because what happens, like the metric horsepower means the amount of power the engine is producing at the crank, crank of the car.
Okay.
So, Lamborghini, the Lamborghini V10, the Performante one, it produces 640 horsepower at the crank. But when you take it on a proper dyno, like a 4-wheel dyno, it produces about 621 or 625 horsepower to the wheel. So the amount of power coming to the wheel is 625 at the max. So basically you can say like kind of they're cheating on you, but no. So the 720S, back to the 720S, they took it on a dyno, and the amount of horsepower they got was 780 at the wheel.
What?
So it means they aren't lying about the horsepower figure. So 720 doesn't mean metric horsepower in McLaren's case. And
It is true, my dear friends. They have actually bridged the gap between a metric horsepower and the true
yes.
horsepower.
And okay, let me come to metric power, my man. So the metric, calculating that metric horsepower, people are saying it's around 800 horsepower.
What?
Yeah, metric horsepower for the 720S is 800 to 815 horsepower.
815 horsepower.
I mean,
I can't even calculate.
So, and the main thing that makes that 4.0 liter V8 twin turbocharged engine from McLaren very unique. I mean, the 918. Again, we're coming to the 918 because the 918 is like a benchmark in the automotive industry. So that car did a 6-minute 57-second Nürburgring lap time. But the thing now, you can compare a Performante and 918 on the track. But I think so in the case of the 720S, the 720S is not the track focused car from McLaren. So I think so you can compare a 720S and a 918 in a straight line. And to beat a 918 in a straight line is very impressive because the 918 is the quickest 0 to 60 car other than the Tesla Model S.
I was about to say that.
Other than the Tesla Model S.
I love Tesla.
Okay, so the 918 does 0 to 60 miles per hour in 2.4-ish seconds. I mean, and okay, now the 918 has a hybrid system and a naturally aspirated V8, and it has 4-wheel drive. So when you do a launch control, you have hybrid assistance, and like in the case of an electrical engine responds
Snappier. Tesla again. Tesla
yeah, that's why a Tesla Model S is so fast. Oh my god, the Roadster
is
We'll talk about the Roadster, I think, so in the next one.
Yeah,
so
we keep it a secret for now.
So 918, and I think so it does like a 9.8 in the quarter mile.
Really?
Yeah, a quarter mile it does in 9.8 seconds. I mean, like I think so your i10 doesn't do 0 to 60 in 9. It takes like
it takes more, not 9.6. It might be taking more. I don't even know. How can you compare a Grand i10, though its name's Grand, when compared to the Porsche, dude?
Like that to like their
yeah, the pinnacle of German engineering. Oh my god.
So the 720S, okay, the 918, like I think so now in the markets it costs around like $1.2 million, around that price, and the 720S costs around $350,000. It is a quite big gap of money. And the 720S with what was the tire's name? Pirelli Trofeo R tires, which are basically like semi slicks for the road. It does a 9.9.
The 9.
Yeah. Stock.
Wow.
Stock.
These numbers are killing me, man.
It doesn't have a hybrid system. It doesn't have a 4-wheel drive system. Only rear-wheel drive and an engine.
Beware.
And also it has an open differential. So
how does it achieve all these numbers with specifications?
Formula 1. The pedigree that McLaren get from the Formula 1 team is just next level. I mean, the Senna is going to destroy everything for the next 5 to 6 years. I mean, like the Senna is
except for the looks.
Yeah,
destroy everything.
So like whenever you're going to go into the Senna, just cover your eyes and go inside.
Yeah, a little blindfolded.
Yeah, I think so. The interior is okay.
Interior may be good.
Yeah.
Speaking of McLaren, does anyone know this fact that McLaren's top F1 driver, one of the top F1 drivers late was Mr. James Hamish Hunt?
Yes.
Very few people know about it, but if you watch the movie Rush, please go watch it now. You will love it.
One of my favorite movies.
There's nothing to hate in that movie because it has a different. It gives you goosebumps in every part of the movie, man. That movie was a legend. So James Hunt, it means McLaren. Yeah.
But I think so. You know why the McLaren gave the P15 the name Senna?
No.
Because James Hunt, I agree, is a very legendary driver. But Senna is also a racing driver. Ayrton Senna. That's why the McLaren P15's name is Senna.
Oh.
So Ayrton Senna, unfortunately, he passed away in a racing accident at Imola racetrack.
Okay.
I think so. It's in Italy. I'm not sure. If it's not in Italy, please don't kill me.
Yeah.
He unfortunately died on the racetrack. But in tribute to him and his still alive brother Bruno Senna, they've made the P50, the Senna, the McLaren Senna. So yeah, that's the backstory, I think, of the McLaren Senna. It's going to be an absolutely crazy car. We won't see one in India for sure.
Obviously not, man. There are a lot of supercars which have been launched like 2 to 3 years ago, but not in India yet. So I don't know. I don't think Senna's anytime.
There was a LaFerrari in Mumbai a few weeks ago.
What?
A LaFerrari.
Oh my god! I never seen LaFerrari in my real life. I have never. Look at that kid. Oh.
What's up?
Oh, that's a.
Oh shit.
Hello.
Yeah. So I think so. That's it for today.
Yeah.
If you have any other ideas for the podcast, or I think so, we're gonna add another member to the podcast in the next week.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. So if you have any other,
you have any ideas and tell us about the reviews and how you like the podcast, comment below. And I think this was a pretty good start for us, right? So we'll be doing more of it every week. So stay tuned to us. Ciao from Viggy. Ciao from Soham.
I think so. We should end the podcast.
Oh.
हुआ क्या?